just like life is lifing, and I just feel like this is a really good time. I forgot, and every time I had do the earth medicine, I forget like how wonderful I enjoy like the experiences for me. So I'm glad that I have a reminder and an excuse to kind of do it more often. Like it can only help. So yeah, that's what's going on.
I can't believe, it's hard to believe what's on my phone when I check the news and things. It's like it's funny. I was talking to somebody and I was saying when I was a kid I used to like love global politics and history and everything, and I'd be like, damn it, why can't we get a good war going or something? It's so boring. And like the 90s when I grew up was like there was wars and stuff, but it was very peaceful. It was very like thing. And now I'm just like, oh no. Like, and I also used to think, what did people during World War II do like during the day? I would be, as a kid, that would be my question. Like, what was life like? Did they just talk about it all the time, or was it just, did life kind of exist? And I realized through these last years, like, oh no, life just kind of, you just kind of roll with it and you pick up trauma along the way.
Yeah, like you're supposed to focus on like the normal stuff, the everyday stuff for us, right? Like whether that's family or work or whatever. But then on top of it now, and that's already stressful, right? And then on top of it, the world, the goings on, the shenanigans.
Shenanigans. It's truly shenanigans. It's I don't know. I'm wondering like who is Trump really working for? Because he certainly doesn't seem to be working for his own country. But then I see what he does all over the place and I'm like, is he like, they've used the term, the useful idiots. And I'm just like, well, who's pulling the strings? Because I really need to know what this guy's true arc is. And I guess we're finding out, but never have I seen someone who seems like so dangerous and yet so clownish at the same time. And I wonder if like some of the dictators in the 20th century that we caricature, I wonder if they were also kind of goofy, right? Like sure they were evil and demonic and whatever, but they're also kind of like dorky as well. The whole thing's a bit preposterous, right? To be look at me, I'm the dictator. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. Right? It's all it is preposterous on its face. So it's quite the comedy. And as much as
well. For me, what strikes me the most is this disassociation with truth. Like it's like there's no standards.
Yeah.
And so like I remember once my daughter Jess asked me, like, how do you know who to trust? And like that question becomes more and more critical in this day and age, and as AI is progressing, but not just AI. It's the thing about what is acceptable, like what is appropriate, right?
Where's up? What direction? Like we're just like Alice through the looking glass right now, just all of us, no ground.
There's people that think and believe that, oh well, there shouldn't be any rules and there shouldn't be any of this, and people should be able to say what they want, and it shouldn't matter whether they're lying or telling the truth or somewhere in between or whatever.
Yeah.
And even in positions that we're supposed to, grant, them power to make decisions for our lives, right? And so like, it's kind of, I don't know. Listen, I'm glad that I had a crazy life and I left home and I had to figure things out for myself. As painful as that was, I'm so glad that I am not one of those people today coming to a realization after a lifetime that these governments are fucked up. like the people running them, they are so dysfunctional, they are so unhealthy, and they're so corrupt and greedy. Like honestly, I don't wanna live my life according to what they think is right. Like I'm just gonna do my own thing. You know what I mean? Like anyways, I would hate to be that person at like whatever age, 60 years old or something, 70 years old, realizing, oh my God, you mean they've been lying to us all this time? It would be so shocking and so devastating.
There's something unfulfilling with a lie. Like lies lack nourishment in a way that the truth doesn't. And if you're just, it's all, eventually life catches up with you, right? There's always a bill to be paid. And so you can like talk and grandiose and grandstand your way a lot in this life. Humans are gullible as shit. And you can convince a lot of people to be absolutely crazy and irrational almost with their choices for a while. But not, it's like there's this Roman saying, which is sic semper tyrannis, the dictator always falls, the tyrant always falls. And yeah, it's just eventually they do. Eventually we humans come to our senses eventually, and we throw the bums out eventually.
Yeah, well, it's great if you can survive that. Unfortunately, like the death and destruction that follows that, like comes with that, is like devastating. I'm really getting an education here in many ways from all the American people, Black people particularly, that I am in contact with.
No doubt. Yeah.
And hearing their stories and about how they, live and how they grew up and what it was like for their experience. Because, of course, I'm born and raised in Canada. And I got my own experience, but it's very different. And I just see like, wow, and it's not just them. It's like so many people. And then the hardest part is like what we said in the beginning is that then all that going on. But then you also got to deal with the reality of your life and all the things that you got to do. You still got deadlines and appointments and meetings and Sunday at the family for dinner. So I don't know, you still got to deal with your own life. And, that's often hard enough, let alone having all of these extreme external influences. Yeah. And human beings are amazing. What they handle, honest to God, they just amaze me.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about, when I look at people who are in war zones, who are in places where violence is the norm, there is like an outburst of life that comes from those places when the bombs stop falling, right? And Lebanon is a great example of that, of like literally as soon as in the 80s during like the peak civil war times when it was really, really bad there, and it's bad again, like maybe worse, but as soon as the bombs would stop, they would be back at the bars, back at the nightclubs, like out the cafes, like this is our life. We're gonna live it as much as we can no matter what. And that's the spirit I see with Palestinians and I see with a lot of different people in the world, Ukrainians in their own way as well. And it's just like, I feel like those of us who are in peaceful places or more or less peaceful places, we can honor that struggle by just living our lives in a way that's authentic and honorable and truthful. And it might not be that we have influence beyond our own little quarter of the world or our family and friend group, but we can at least live our lives in a way that gives honor to those people. And I think a lot of times people don't want to tap into the suffering of others because it thinks, well, then it's just going to bum me out. And it's like, well, if it will in the beginning, but if you can start to see that the world is just this crazy place with all this stuff happening, and all we have is the moment to choose to live or to not live, then it becomes clear what we can do. And it does impact, and it does make a difference, just the quality that we live our lives.
I think that's a really valuable point. It just like, I think a lot of people are like, what do I do? You know, I told you that I had those feelings during the pandemic, especially back with everyone in Canada and while I was here in the UK, feeling like I couldn't, all I could really do was like listen, just be there for people as much as I could be. And you know, live my best life, but I didn't feel like I could share that with, especially online or anything. So you don't see me posting a lot. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to, you know, reframe my thinking around this now. But at the time, I felt like almost like it might be rubbing, you know,
Yes.
insult to injury, right? Or rubbing salt in the wound or something, you know. I'm really sorry to hear, you know, you got these challenges, but, you know, oh, well, I'm just going to like hang out, you know, and have a great day. So, you know, like whatever, right? I couldn't be like that. And I felt a lot of quandary of it, you know, like I felt really mixed feelings about it. It was really on my mind a lot. It was, you know, for a bunch of reasons. One, because I wanted to care, you know, care for people in what way I thought was, you know, just to listen to them as they were, you know, talking about what they were scared about, what they were pissed off about, what they were, you know, worried about, right? And I don't know, but then at the same time, I wanted to honor myself, and I didn't feel free to be me, you know? And so, yeah, I had really a tough time with that. And I finally came to a decision much like what you're talking about. Like, okay, yeah, I can send money and I can donate and I can go and, you know, go and protest and go on walks and stuff. Like I spent my whole fucking life doing, you know, and I don't do that here because I can't. I'm not supposed to because it's part of my own residency here.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't really want to anymore. And of course, you know, I feel very strongly and very passionately, but you know, these are dangerous times. I don't barely even want to leave my fucking house. You know, hard at the time. Because I live here, I know it's peaceful and safe, okay? And you know, maybe I'm just like telling myself a story, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And you know, here in Yucatan, I don't feel, you know, I'm fine. I like to, you know, safe here. I don't have any issue with that. But, you know, I just really feel like you said it. You fucking encapsulated it in the one phrase that you said to me once, and I have never forgotten it, and that is that this is a gangster plan. Like it is, man. There's all kinds of criminals with a capital C there. You know? Holy shit. And just life in general is hard enough. You know, but then adding all this external stuff. You know, what people, those people you're talking about that live like that, you know, have lived in a war-torn, you know, country and have times of peace, but it's never like guaranteed forever. You know what I mean? Not that it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of trauma, you know, like so I don't know, like I don't see how people live in like, you know, Canada or whatever, you know, just live a very easy in many ways life. They still got issues. So imagine how compounded it must be for someone, what a struggle it must be to be happy, to feel peace of mind, like when you're living in that. Like, wow.
Yeah. Like the world is too big now to influence all of it at once. right? It's just too big, right? You're pushing on the ocean when you're trying to make the system level changes. It's possible, but it takes lifetimes, right? It's like if you want change in that way, it's there's this saying of like it's the slow boring of hard boards, the slow drilling of hard boards. Like it's really painstaking to get people on board to shift something in a way that would benefit other people and won't just be for their interest. That's really the whole game, isn't it? Right? If we're talking about influence or talking about channeling some sort of new energy into this planet, it's to like shift these things at this level. And yet the answer doesn't seem to be run out in the street and start shouting. Although public pressure is key at certain points in any movement. But this isn't just a movement, though. This is way more than a movement. It's like the whole collective coming to its own awakening and realization at the same time. And we're just total mirrors for each other and for the horrors that we've been living through. And so in some ways, it's refreshing that it's so obvious and it's so out there and it's so ridiculous. And so many people can finally see the emperor is not wearing clothes, and so many people are willing to be like, oh no, of course not, like clearly that man is naked, and we're not going to fall for those silly tricks. Like you might have more power, you might be able to assert and bully your way around, but it doesn't mean that people are going to accept it in their minds or in their hearts. They're just like, well, yeah, this mother effer is, doing whatever they're doing. And, I don't have enough power to fight them, but I'm certainly not going to respect or admire or, appreciate them in any way.
Yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm convinced that the best thing, like you say, that I can do is live my best life, try to share as much as I can, continue on with my own growth and development, and, treat people kindly, and fairly,
Mm-hmm.
I just,
There's a lot of people, I think we talked about this on the last pod episode that we recorded, and there's so many people are trying to do the right thing and treat people fairly and accumulate wealth, but also share the benefits with others. Like there's so many people that are really trying to do things the right way. And we don't see that covered. We don't see those things exposed, though we do feel it sometimes, like on social media, where everyone's like, we're like crying for strangers all the time now. Like we're so moved by the experience of people we see. I'm thinking especially TikTok, and that, I'll just sit there in the morning and I'll watch like 3 or 4 videos of perfect strangers, and I will be right there emotionally connected to those people, right? Like, wow, like they got into school, like that's one common one, right? Where it's like the parents and the kids, and they're getting into the university, and they're like, it's the first member of our family to go to law school or whatever, right? And you get into that and you're like, yeah, that would be amazing. Like, good for them. Like, wow, what a moment. And so there's so much of that just isn't covered in the what's important category, but yet it is so much data that says most people are really trying their best. Like really trying their best, really want the best for themselves, for their families. Most people really want that, but we have a certain percentage of people that actively are trying to fight and kill that. So that's where we are.
Yeah, and I just, I don't even know what to say. I said all the last episode as well. Like sometimes, I love people. It's such a hard gig being decent human being, right? So I just like appreciate us just for showing up on the daily, you know. But the thing is, they are also, people are the most frustrating thing. They can just be the worst. They can just do the worst stuff and treat other people so badly. And you know, honestly, and it's so hard because, you know, one thing that strikes me every time I listen to a story about, you know, down, well, I guess it's up there from here, but it's down there from here. The thing is, you know, this fucking all consuming pursuit of money, thinking that it's gonna fix you, it's gonna make you feel better. Like, what a pile of shit. But one of the worst things that we are told is that crime doesn't pay, because look at the number, just millions and billions of dollars. Like, where does, these are just numbers, right? Like who can fathom?
Trillions now. Now we're talking about
Right?
trillions of dollars.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And like, honestly, for me, you know, I don't really want to get into the whole American stuff, but I am going to anyways. But the thing is, for me, like the simplest thing, like when you see the numbers that it's costing them to be in the Middle East, be it the war or the military thing or whatever you call it, the billions of dollars, and how they can't come up with money for like healthcare, like a basic necessity for living well. And yet they can spend billions in the war, you know, machine, right? That just blows my mind. It just, like how on earth could not be justified? These people sleep. I don't know. Like, just, see, I told you I shouldn't get started, Chris.
Well, it's a sickness, right? It's what the indigenous people recognized when the Europeans first arrived. It's a sickness. It's greed. And they get sick with it, and they, you know, it's a way to not have to face your own demons and your own darkness and your own weaknesses and your own vulnerabilities. It's just this constant accumulation and acquiring and consuming until you die. And then the last 5 minutes of your life, or whatever, the last 10 years or whatever time, you finally realize that you've been a total piece of shit for your whole life, and like you don't have anyone that truly loves you, and you don't have any, and you think about who's coming to your funeral, and it's like, you know, the priest and the person that works at the funeral home and like are the only, you know, guaranteed guests. Then people are like, whoa, what did I do all this for? Oh no. And it's just like, and you have not figured that out. Like, if you'd figured that out 45 years ago, the whole planet would be in a better state. But, you know, this is where we've tried to build a whole civilization without the influence of feminine power. And we're at the edge of what we can do. Like, the patriarchy is just like, it's fighting for its life right now. Reality has got the patriarchy in a chokehold. And so we're seeing this, right? And like all the other pillars that are connected to that, you know, with exploitation and capitalism and racism and white supremacy and like all of it, you know, fundamentalist religion. And it's just this toxic, you know, soup that is feeding, you know, it's the only thing that can feed them, right? These cretins who like have no allegiance to anything that is truthful or good or honest or like happy or like anything. It's just, they're just feeding on darkness, right? They're just feeding on this constant stream of attention and like ego worshiping, and it's dark. I mean, it doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound like they're having a good time, I wouldn't think.
But you know, like, those people are miserable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It sucks to be
misery loves company.
bad.
Right? It does suck, but misery loves company. And so, you know, you tend to gravitate, you know, to the people who are like resonating at the level you're resonating. So, you know, I get it. So they're in their own little microcosm, right, as a community. And, but I just, you know, I don't know. I can't even, like, I have such joy and such pain when it comes to my fellow human beings that it's hard for me to, you know, it's both of those things. It's my greatest joy and some of my worst pain, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to reconcile that in my life, you know, but you know, I just try to put good vibes and love out into the world, and I try to attract that back to me, and stick with the people who love me and the people who I love, and that's you know, and be open, you know, keep my heart open. That's one thing that that I had to learn to do, is keep my heart open.
Yeah. Like we don't have to return anger, or we don't have to return anger with anger, right? We can return that gift before it's opened. And it's just, that's the discipline of it, of being like aware of things, aware of people, aware of systems, but not giving over all of our emotions and all of our energy to even to resisting or to being raging against these systems. You know, of course, I love Rage Against the Machine, the band, you know, shout outs, but you know, it's not, you can't rage against the machine all day, every day, right? You have to pick your spots, right? You have to be an artist, or you have to build, you know, build a empire. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to like really give back at some point, then you have to like pull that wealth accumulation, wealth collection systems in place so that you can really make a difference in some way. And we all have our calling, and some people are meant to like go chant and pot and march and kick in doors and stuff like that. So everyone does have a role to play. And it just feels like there's so many ways to contribute to a new system, and yet there's so few ways to change the old system. So it's really speaking to me that, you know, it's more important for us to double, triple down on the new seeds that we're planting versus getting so worked up about the current setup, because like that's obviously going to change in ways that we won't be able to foresee and in ways that we will be able to foresee. But we can't, it's beyond saving, right? Like, you know, the patient's already dead. Like it's like the flat line is already occurring. So it's like very little we can do. So it's, you know, trying to divert people's pain and trauma into these healing spaces so that they're able to then see, okay, what do I really want to create in my life? If I had the freedom to choose, what would that choice be?
Yeah, because you know, the truth is, like, we only really have today. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what the future holds for us. So like this whole, like, I'm gonna put off, you know, until I'm older, I'm retired or whatever, you know, that's my demographic, right? Then I'm gonna pursue and have time for me and all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, sometimes you just don't get there. Or sometimes you don't get there in the manner to be able to truly appreciate it, you know? I mean, I always have people ask me, oh my God, when they find out I started to learn to skate, a roller skate at 57, they were like, are you fucking crazy? And I've had even people tell me, you're completely irresponsible. That's completely irresponsible. Even though, you know, like I try to be as responsible as possible. I got all the pads except for the aspect. But and my first video was watching how to fall safely. Like honestly, I'm trying to be as responsible, but I just want to live my life. And honestly, that's going to take me down and take me out. Like that's a way better story than, no, you know, like I had like, you know, heart disease or so. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I'm not trying to diss on anybody who's got heart disease, but I'm just saying. I'm only bringing that up because I went for my yearly physical, and my blood pressure was high. Anyhow, according to them. But anyhow, so so I got like things like that to deal with, but I just want to live my life. I just, there's so many things that I didn't have time for before because I was so busy trying to do my career or raise my family or like whatever, like whatever. And those things are important. So it's just like for me, again, it always comes down to just trying to find that balance where I don't get lost in the whole, priority of people and places and things to take care of. I'm glad you start your day with nice videos. That's really sweet. No, it is, because I'm telling you something, I always believe that it's so important for our mental and physical and emotional well-being and spiritual well-being. But for our well-being, I've always felt that it's really important that we are discerning in the places and the situations we put ourselves in, the people we come into contact with, and a lot of that is about what we see, like what we put in front of our eyes on a regular basis, right? So I guarantee you are not going to feel mental wellness if you're like doom scrolling over. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I admire that. I'm not kidding, because a lot of people, they got that thing with the online thing, constantly scrolling, constantly, and that's cool, I guess, right? But I always I'm wondering, I wonder what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Me, my timeline consists of roller skating, dog videos, because I love dogs, cannabis stuff sometimes, and life on the road. I like that kind of stuff. And I don't know, that's my timeline. What's in yours? Oh, and home decor, I like that too. And food.
Yeah, I have a lot of cooking stuff in my thing. What else in my timeline? A lot of music, a lot of DJs who live stream. I'm like, yeah, a bunch of those.
I haven't started doing that yet. I have to try.
That's every third or fourth video for me is music. I tend to follow just interesting people. There's a creator that's talking about having some like frolic conference or something, some like world frolic event or something. So I follow them. I don't people and then see where I go, but I usually get some pretty good stuff. I like seeing people, go through, like, I like watching. There's a group of young men who are they're from Wales, and they're riding their bicycles from Wales to Thailand, and it's like a 6 adventure, and they post every day that they can. So I've been like following all along their trip, and they're just like very, they're really nice kids, and they're they're in their 20s, so they're men, but they're kids to me, and they're riding their bikes and trying to be good guys, and learning about the cultures and learning about the people and staying in hostels, and it's just good wholesome fun. It's like, okay, that's what you should be doing at that age, like going on adventures, traveling and seeing the world, just absorbing it all, like being a part of it.
That's really beautiful. Yeah. So I guess if we were gonna have a theme to this or a moral to the story, I'm not really a moral, but like a point, I would say that there's some crazy shit going on, and it's good to stay informed. There's no doubt about that. But you got to balance that with something that brings you joy, something that makes you laugh, something that brings you peace, something beautiful, and you'll find it. It's out there. There's all kinds of cool stuff. People doing all kinds of cool things, despite what's happening. So I hope that people will take advantage of that and just have a little look at what kind of they're putting in front of their eyes and into their ears and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Because you know how like those, if you watch the news constantly, let's say, you know, that's very heavy energy. And so that can make you feel very heavy. That's really sad, frustrating. So to the degree that that can feel like that because of that, so can watching a stupid dog video, even if it's AI dogs. I like real ones, but that is it dopamine that it creates, like that joyfulness, that burst of, oh yeah, joy, fun.
Yeah, I don't know if what they said dopamine would be the thing, but maybe like serotonin.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's one of those two. I don't know. I can never keep it straight.
I always think, yeah, serotonin's like the love and connection, and dopamine's like getting reward and focus.
Okay. So serotonin. Let's use that one. So yeah, it's like and honestly, like you feel better for it. And most people know that. Like most people, I think, do that instinctively. But some people don't. They just fall into that habit and trap of like finding something that resonates with the energy of what they're feeling inside. And of course, at the same time, it's feeding it. So it's perpetuating. Right?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's understandable, but it's not helping. That's what I was just trying to say. If you want it to help you, then you need to seek out some things that create more serotonin or raise your serotonin. There, I sound technical talk.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we did a video on emotional health, and so like that would be one to go back to if that's something that you're looking for tools, because this is a need. Like if you're, it's almost like, I think about a good way to think about it is when people who have lost someone and they're grieving, you know, like what are the kinds of things that make a grieving person feel a little bit better, even if they're not going to be, they're still going to be sad and grieving, but there are things that can comfort a grieving person.
Yeah, you can have peace with that.
Exactly. And so like, you know, if you're obviously, if you know, you'd want to have like comfortable surroundings, and you want to be only around people who you can trust and love and who really get what you're about. And so if you think about those things, those kind of things, that can help give you some insight into what will help you feel better. Even as we're going through very, very dark times, we can still work on feeling as well as we can, as healed as we can, and knowing that we are accumulating knocks and new trauma daily, and that will need to be addressed at some point down the road as well.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because before I started this full moon clown circle, every full moon I'd be out there with Booker, my dog, you know, just me and a golden retriever, you know, it's like going like a little bit ritualistic now, you know, this is a night for that because I want the power of the moon. Where I live, I can be bathed in the backyard, so I want it. And, you know, I want to pull my cards, and I want to pull my pendulum, and I want to meditate, and I want to listen to good music, and I want to move, you know, that kind of stuff. It's such a joy to do it with someone else. Like, okay, I would do it with groups, but even just one other person, you know, our pup buds, the people that we share our growth with, they're so invaluable, you know. So like, if you're not already doing it, it's such a great thing to, you know, make a date, even if you're not in the same place as your pup bud, or you can't get to each other, you don't imbalance or something, you know. Like just to connect and like relax and have some laughs, and you know, that's really important that you treat yourself that way, like you would to your, you know, closest friend. Or you be gentle with yourself during this time, because this is life now. This is how it is right now, you know. And it may get better. God, I hope it gets better. But the thing is that we don't know, and this is how it is right now. I hate to see anybody suffer, especially, you know, if they don't need to.
Yeah.
You know, pain is one thing, but suffering is a whole different level. And it just wears on the spirit so much. Whether that suffering is physical or mental or emotional or broken heart, um, that kind of stuff. Yeah, this is. I feel like we deserve, and I know we have, you know, different things about that word deserve, but honestly, I feel like if we are here in this moment, we're just trying to be the best we can be at this time, we deserve to have the grace to do that. Yeah, you know, stay lit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all we can really say for now.
Good talking to you, Nick.
Good talking to you, D.
Yeah, good talking to all you people out there too. Hey, thanks for listening to our podcast. You know, it took a long time for me to be willing to do this, and I couldn't have done it had it not been for Nick here. Not only to encourage me and you know, and empower me, but also to hold my hand doing it, being right here alongside me. So I don't know, I just really appreciate it, Nick, and I really wanted to say that. And I appreciate you guys, however few or whatever are watching. I really appreciate that too. And you know, I don't know, if you just feel like saying something to us, you know, put it in the comments. Like you can like rap at us. You can tell us, you know, you think we're full of shit, or maybe we're forgetting something, or maybe you got some better ideas than we do. We're all about listening. We're all about growth and development. So don't hesitate. You know, be kind. Like, be nice. Don't be an asshole about it. If you have some suggestions of things or topics that you'd like to hear us talk about, for sure, put them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Right, Nick?
Right, D. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the love and everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See ya. Bye-bye.